The first shipments could go out within hours of getting that approval.
This month has seen more coronavirus deaths than any time since mid-May and more coronavirus cases than ever. President Trump tweet firing his top cybersecurity expert, Christopher Krebs, terminated after saying the 2020 election was the most secure in American history. ABC's Mark Remillard.
President Trump in a tweet baselessly claimed there was widespread fraud and improprieties and that Krebs' statement was wrong, so he's been terminated. It comes, though, as the Trump campaign continues to see lawsuits challenging election results dropped or dismissed in courts across the country.
A reversal of certifications of votes in the Detroit area.
Just minutes after President Trump applauded a decision by the Wayne County, Michigan Board of Canvassers to temporarily block the certification of election results, the board voted again.
The Wayne County Board of Canvassers actually reversed their past decision and voted 4-0 to certify the full results, including the city of Detroit, for Wayne County.
Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson on CNN. President-elect Biden won Michigan by more than 146,000 votes. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Trump campaign faces a deadline today to request a recount in Wisconsin, where the president is trailing by more than 20,000 votes. The price tag for doing that, almost $8 million. You're listening to ABC News.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
Balance of Nature helps every single person, no matter if they're athletic, no matter if they're young, if they're old. And for me, after retiring, I started taking Balance of Nature, and I've never felt better in my life. And I've been trying to make myself feel good for 40 years now. Balance of Nature is not a supplement. It's not in addition to our health. It's the foundation to our health. It's the foundation to your life to have 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every day.
Get a wide variety of all your daily recommended servings of whole fruits and vegetables without having to leave your home. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FRUITS.
Nearly 800 nurses at a hospital in the Philadelphia suburbs are on strike. They walked out at St. Mary's Medical Center in Langhorne, saying that the hospital is critically understaffed. Jim Gentile is a nurse there.
When a patient comes to a hospital, they deserve a registered nurse to take care of them. If you have 6-to-1 ratio and they're all COVID patients and one starts to go bad, you spend the next 2 hours with that one patient. Those other 5 patients are totally ignored.
The hospital says it has hired replacement nurses. In Italy, hospitals are reaching a breaking point once again with coronavirus cases jumping. ABC News senior foreign correspondent Ian Pannell is at full Santa Ana Hospital in Como, Italy.
Italy overcome by a second surge, going from 2,700 cases a day 6 weeks ago to 37,000. Italy was the first in Europe to be devastated by the pandemic. A strict lockdown slowly brought it under control, but as measures eased, cases rose again. The country reliving a nightmare.
The settlement over the Flint water crisis is growing. There's an agreement in place to boost it from $600 million to over $641 million. A federal judge has agreed to the change. The process of sending money to all the people of Flint will now begin. And the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize for World Food Program will be waiting a while longer to be honored. The group has agreed to delay the awards ceremony scheduled for next month in Oslo over coronavirus concerns. This is ABC News.
If you weren't happy with the election coverage, you need to watch Newsmax TV, the fastest growing TV channel in America. Find great shows with Greg Kelly, Mike Huckabee, Diamond and Silk, Michelle Malkin, and more. Plus, see analysts like Dick Morris, Sean Spicer, Alan Dershowitz, Rudy Giuliani, and Kimberly Guilfoyle. Newsmax TV is on all the major cable systems, or find it free on Roku, Zumo, YouTube, and more. Download the free Newsmax app on your phone and start watching today.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
You know, folks are saying once you've used a Massey Ferguson, you won't ever want another tractor. They're tough, versatile, and dependable. And now with the change of season special at NC Tractor and Farm Supply, you'll be wise to get your special deal. Our tractors have been running in families for generations. Ask about the Phil Sheehan Fall Special going on right now. NC Tractor, 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherfordton. Call 288-0395. Good morning. We can enjoy the great outdoors today. The air quality is good with a high temperature today reaching about 58 degrees and sunny skies and only light wind. Tonight we drop back to a cool 29, light wind, and the sun is going to be shining all this week long. No rain in the forecast until we get to about Monday, and then there is a slight chance of an isolated shower. Meanwhile, the perfect weather is here upon us. Enjoy.
I don't know about you, but I'm loving this forecast, huh? A nice day to stroll in the park or ride a bicycle up and down Main Street, Broadway, somewhere. 34 degrees right now, according to Peter the meter reader, and we look forward to enjoying the day outdoors. The sun's going to be perfect for us. Welcome to the second hour of the morning wake-up call here at WCAB 100.9 FM, 590 AM. My name's Bishop. Jim Bishop. Now I have these death announcements this morning. Ryan Chad Melton, age 43, of Gastonia, passed away Friday, November 13th at Caramont Regional Medical Center. The funeral service will be conducted at 1 o'clock Thursday at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. Burial will follow at Eternal Hills Memorial Park. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to the service at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with those arrangements for Ryan Chad Melton. Robert Lee Hardy passed away. A memorial service is planned at a later date. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is serving the family of Ryan Lee Hardy. Mary Pauline Justice, age 87, of Forest City, died Sunday, November 15th at Fairhaven of Forest City. The funeral service will be conducted at 1 o'clock today at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. Burial will follow in the Rutherford County Memorial Cemetery. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Service, entrusted with the arrangements for Mary Pauline Justice. Cecile Marie Johnson Price, lovingly known as Susie, 81, of Springfield, Virginia, passed away November the 11th. A funeral service and burial will be held today at 1 o'clock at Glenwood Baptist Church on the Bostic Sunshine Highway. Online condolences may be made at www.crowmortuary.com for Cecile Marie Johnson Price. Connie McHamrick, age 78, of Forest City, died Friday at his home. Friends may call today from 1 until 5 o'clock at the Pageant and King Chapel, where they may sign the guest registry and pay their respects. The Pageant at King Mortuary is in charge of the arrangements for Connie McHamrick. Barbara Annie Blackwell, age 81, passed away Friday, November 13th at Accordius Health at Rutherford, formerly White Oak Manor, White Oak Nursing Center. Graveside service will be held 2 p.m. today at Eternal Hills Memorial Park. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory, serving the family of Barbara Annie Blackwell. Dickie Williams, age 74, of Bostic, passed away Wednesday, November 4th at his residence. Dickie will be buried at the Western Carolina State Veterans Cemetery in Black Mountain at 10 o'clock Friday, November 20th. The Rutherford County Honor Guard will provide military honors. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for Dickie Williams of Bostic. And many of you know the name Dr. Bob Crummy of Rutherford, on the radio here for many years. Dr. Bob Crummy passed away Tuesday morning at his home in Marion with his daughter. Arrangements are incomplete at this time and will be announced at a later date by Westmoreland Funeral Home of McDowell County. Those are the arrangements for Dr. Bob Crummy. All we have at this point, we received a message yesterday that he had passed away while in his sleep. Rush Limbaugh Morning Update is next, and we'll get to the phone calls, find out what's been going on around the neighborhood.
This past Sunday, Jake Tapper, host of CNN's State of the Union show, interviewed Dr. Fauci, who heads the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Dr. Fauci told Tapper that even if a vaccine for the coronavirus is brought to market and widely distributed, we cannot abandon fundamental public health measures. So even if you get the vaccine, you're going to have to keep wearing a mask and you're going to have to keep hunkering down. That's because even with a 90 to 95% rate of effectiveness, people who take the vaccine won't necessarily know how effective it is for them. After hearing that gloom and doom assessment from Dr. Fauci, Dr. Tapper had a diagnosis of his own. He declared that Christmas probably not going to be possible this year. So just like that, on CNN, Christmas is over before it even gets started. Well, I have a prediction for you, Jacob Paul Tapper. Despite what you may hope, there will be a Christmas this year, at least in my house, and next year, and every year that human beings continue to populate the earth. Neither the coronavirus nor CNN or any other plague is going to stop people from celebrating one of the holiest and most treasured days of their lives. And Jake, there isn't a single Grinch-like journalist who can ever stop Christmas. You don't have that kind of power, and you never will. Sorry. This holiday season may feature more merriment with your devices than ever before as you stay connected with family and friends. That's before you take on all that online holiday shopping. All that online activity can mean more chances of exposing your personal information to bad guys. Now, before all that online shopping and communication takes place, make sure your online identity is protected. Don't spend the holidays without identity theft protection from LifeLock. It monitors for uses of your personal information without your permission. If you have a problem with identity theft, a U.S.-based LifeLock restoration specialist will work to fix it. Now, no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock can help you feel safer this holiday season and all year long. Save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com using the promo code RUSH. That's LifeLock.com. Promo code RUSH to save 25%.
Holding hands, sipping cherry Cokes, and enjoying the music of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. 100.9 FM, 590 AM. This is WCAB.
What can I possibly do to make this stressful time a little better? Here's one thing I found. It's a small thing, a simple thing, a remarkable thing. Smile. You can share a smile from more than 6 feet apart. You can share it socially with the whole world. In fact, right now, I'm smiling at you. And I hope you're smiling back, because smiling is in you. From PassItOn.com.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Following the Civil War, two brothers, Lee and Fred Freeman, were hired to publish a newspaper out of Fort Kearny, Nebraska. A railroad was being constructed in the area. During construction, the area boomed. When the railroad moved on, taking the workers with it, there was a bust. The Freeman brothers hit on the idea to create a newspaper that would move along with the railroad. So they bought a hand press, type, ink, and paper, and named their newspaper the Frontier Index. They also hired wagons to take them to the next town. As the crews arrived with men anxious to read the latest news, they did a booming business. Merchants were willing to pay outrageous prices for advertising and mark their goods up accordingly. The masthead of the Index changed each of the 25 times they moved to a new town. Sometimes the Freeman brothers moved so fast that they outran their supplies. One time they had to print the newspaper on wrapping paper. The Index came to an end in Bear River City, a lawless element began arriving in town right along with the railroad workers. The Index wrote an editorial stating, "Bear River City has stood enough of the rowdy criminal element." The next day, November 15, 1868, some of the rowdy criminal element grabbed a rope and headed to the tent that headquartered the Index newspaper. The Freeman brothers escaped, but when they returned, nothing remained of the Index but ashes. The lifespan of the Frontier Index was about 2 years, which incidentally was a long time for an Old West frontier newspaper. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
16 minutes after 7 o'clock on this hump day, Wednesday morning, the 18th day of November. Let's head to the phones and find out what's been happening. On the phone with me right now is Deputy Mitchell with the Sheriff's Department to give us an update. Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Doing good. How about yourself, sir?
Doing well, thanks. Tell us what's been going on in your department.
In the past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Office responded to 141 calls, processed 16 arrests at the jail, and currently have 146 incarcerated at the jail. As far as incident report goes, Carl Elms of Union Mills reported 2 misdemeanor larcenies. Maria Aguilar of Forest City reported a misdemeanor larceny and a damage to personal property. As far as arrest reports go, Joshua Kyle Lauder of Polk County Line Road in Rutherford was arrested for a failure to comply. Jerry Lee Alexander of Whitesides Road in Forest City was arrested for failure to comply. He received a $300 cash bond. Zachary Green of Pin Oak Manor in Rutherford was arrested for false imprisonment and injury to personal property. He received a $5,000 secured bond. Jared Mays of Canby Road in Rutherford was arrested for second-degree trespass. He received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Stephen Schaefer of Red Barn Road in Ellenburg was arrested for non-supportive child and school attendance law violation. He received a cash bond of $370. William Hotella of Hicks Grove Road of Rutherford was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. He has a secured bond of $500. Charlene Tate of Canby Road in Rutherford was arrested for second-degree trespass. She received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Jaco Ellis of Emory Avenue in Forest City was arrested for failure to appear on a misdemeanor. Received a secured bond of $500. Sheila Elliott of Lee Road in Rutherford and Forest City was arrested for driving while license revoked. She received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Terry Lee Bunch of Old Carolina in Forest City was arrested for failure to appear on a misdemeanor. Received a $5,000 secured bond. And Douglas McGinnis of Fleece Lane in Mooresboro was arrested for assault by pointing a gun, assault with a deadly weapon, and injury to personal property. Received a $1,500 unsecured bond. That's all we got for you this morning.
Deputy Mitchell, thank you very much for that report. I appreciate it. You have a great day and be safe out there.
Thanks, sir. You as well.
Bye-bye. It's 18 past the hour.
Good morning. As we are experiencing the impact of COVID-19, let's stop predicting and let's prepare. Life changes, and then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called the unexpected. So when it comes to your financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm your Edward Jones financial advisor, Andrew Tisdale. A job loss, a change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call me today at 828-287-9197. Our office is located at Food Line Plaza in Rutherford. This is Edward Jones, making sense of investing, and a member of the SIPC. Bye.
Here's Emily now with the 911 Communications Center with our report. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning.
What's on your report today?
In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and 911 Communications has processed 453 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of EMS and rescue had 160 for emergency medical service, 22 for rescue, Law enforcement, there was 141 for the Sheriff's Office, 78 for Forest City, 7 for Lake Lure, 45 for Spindale, 34 for Rutherford. Our fire calls, Ellenboro responded to a motor vehicle collision. Forest City had a motor vehicle collision and residential fire alarm and an illegal burn. Lake Lure responded to a smoke in a non-structure and Chimney Rock assisted. Rutherford had a structure fire and Green Hill SDO and Sandy Mush assisted, and Spindale had a motor vehicle collision. That's all I have.
Thanks, Emily. I hope you have a great day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye. McCurry Deck Motors has been providing an impressive selection of automobiles for over 50 years. At McCurry Deck, you can browse the great selection of GMC automobiles and drive away in one knowing you have gotten the best deal possible. The team at McCurry Deck Motors counts it a privilege to make you a happy and satisfied customer. Why not test drive one of the comfortable and stylish GMCs today? At GMC, we are professional grade. At McCurry Deck Motors, we're the home of GMC, Chevy, and Buick. 1740 U.S. Highway 74A, Forest City. Here's Ruby Taylor. She has the report for us from the SDO Fire District. Good morning, Ruby. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, Jim.
Good. What's on the report?
The fire department had one call. They assisted Ralton on a structural fire. And on my birthday counter, I got Brent Luckadoo, Claudia Marr, McCrae Haynes, and Jennifer Cochran having birthdays. Hope they all have a nice day, and the signs are in the knees today and going to the legs tomorrow. Jim, that's all I got.
Thanks, Ruby. Enjoy your day today.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Are you confused about Medicare insurance? Well, most people are. I'm Tom Ashby, your local Medicare resource. As a licensed insurance broker, I'll be happy to answer all of your questions about Medicare and help you find a plan that fits your needs and saves you money. There is no cost to you whatsoever for this service. Call me today at 828-289-2187. That's 828-289-2187.
Here's Gary Wilson now. He's up in the mountains, up around the Fairfield, Bills Creek area and points beyond. Gary, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Jim. How you doing?
I'm doing well. You're the king of the mountain.
I'm sorry?
You're the king of the mountain.
I guess. Old man of the mountains, I guess. Old man of the mountains coming home.
Yeah, well, you're still getting around pretty good.
Yeah, still limping about, making it all right, I guess. I better not complain.
There you go.
We're kind of chilly up here this morning, about 30 degrees out there. Kind of big old frost out there this morning. Good freeze going on, looks like. And it's that time of the year, though. It's about time to kill off some of those insects, maybe.
I hope so.
And we've been quiet the last few days, really. Us and Bills Creek both. We've had no calls in the last 24 hours. Been about 3 or 4 days on to see if one of us had anything. So that's a good thing. Quiet time of the year right now. Get all these winter storms out here. Maybe we won't be too busy this winter.
Yeah. Catch up on your rest.
Yeah. Give us a chance to catch a breath. I'm sure we'll have those going on before the winter's over with. But some depends on who you read. You read one thing, they say we're going to have a mild winter, and if you read something else, they say we're going to have a cold winter. So
I don't know who knows.
I guess we'll just have to take what we get.
Yeah.
But that's about it up here this morning, Jim. Everything going on pretty quiet.
Gary, what's determined an illegal burn?
I'm sorry?
What is determined by an illegal burn on a report?
An illegal burn would be one that you don't have a burning permit for to begin with. You need to make sure you always got a burning permit, and if you got any questions, call local authorities and see if there is a burning ban on.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to make sure you got a burning permit. And, of course, what you're burning is also going to play into it, too. If it's just leaves and yard debris, that's normally okay, but a lot of people throw other stuff in there that's not, that they shouldn't be burning, and that would also constitute an illegal burn.
So burning leaves by itself, is it considered illegal burning if you don't get a permit?
Yeah, you got to have a permit. If you're going to be doing any outside burning,
okay,
you need to get a permit.
Well, I want to bring that forward because I'm seeing a lot of folks burning leaves right now, and I want to make sure they're compliant with that. So
yeah, those can be obtained through the Forestry Service. It can be obtained online. Now, if you live in the town of Lake Lure, you have to get the permit from the Lake Lure Fire Department. If you're living in the corporate limits of Lake Lure, you're going to be burning. You got to get your permit there. You can't go online and get it.
Yeah.
It has to be purchased from them. I think you can get them either there at the fire department or maybe even town hall, but it has to be got there.
Yeah.
And then just use some common sense too. If the wind's blowing 20, 25 mile an hour, it's probably best not to burn anything.
Oh yeah.
People think we've had a lot of rain, which we've had, but then it takes about 2 days for them leaves that are falling to dry back out, and there you go again.
Yeah. Well, it's so easy to burn when you've got those leaves piled up to burn them, but I just want people to be safe and within the limits of the law. And I see a lot of burning going on. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that.
Yeah, make sure you're not near any structures or anything like that, or good clear area around it, and have a garden hose handy. But get that permit. That's the main thing you got to have right off the bat.
All right, Gary, I do appreciate that information. I hope you have a great day and continue to be quiet up there. See you now.
All right, you have a good one, Jim.
Bye.
Henson Building Materials is returning to our regular days and hours to better serve the fast-growing building needs of the Forest City area. Our hours will be 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. We'll still be taking safety measures, cleaning, wearing masks, and social distancing, all while our friendly and knowledgeable staff will be taking your orders on a variety of building, remodeling, and DIY projects. With the combined experience of over 50 years, Jamie Earls, Terry Dunaway, and Randy Harrell in our 10,000 square foot showroom will get you in and out, loaded and back to your project, all with the flexibility in ordering. And while you're at it, visit our Homeworks by Henson showroom with our 2 designers for all of your kitchen and bath cabinet and countertop design needs. Time to get out, get busy, and visit Henson Building Materials. Building starts here.
They're always willing to help you over there if you need help, but if you don't need any help, they'll stay out of your way and let you do the shopping. Do some business right here with Henson Building Material. Now let's head over toward the Hudlow Fire District. Bob Hodge, how you doing this morning?
We're doing just fine on this chilly hump day morning.
Well, are you ready for winter time?
Well, yeah, I'm getting about ready there. Yeah, looks like it ain't going to be far off, so.
Yep, I believe we crossed that bridge now.
Well, we'll keep getting these chilly mornings and then warm back up. And before you know it, it's going to be cold all the time there. So, it's your month done over half gone. It's going to be December here before we know it.
Oh, isn't that something?
End of the year. This year's passed fast, seems like there. So, but everything's running along good up here so far this morning, Jim. Things are quiet. Hadn't had any fire calls overnight, so that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, I want to say happy birthday to Charlie Sweeney this morning. And other than that, things are running along good up here this morning. That sun's coming up and looks like we'll have a nice day. So
I'm looking forward to it.
So you can get out here and rake leaves or something there.
Now, don't go pushing it, Bob. No, don't go pushing it.
Well, we could blow them. Maybe the wind will blow them off in somebody else's yard there.
Now you're talking.
If it blows the right way, but sometimes it blows the wrong way. I get all the leaves there.
Yeah. Well, it'd have to blow up pretty hard to blow up somebody else's yard from my house because I don't have any close neighbors. So I'll just have to rake them up and haul them off, I guess.
I know it there. Well, Jim, you take care and you have a good day.
You too, Bob. Appreciate talking with you and have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 29 minutes after the hour 7, and we have 34 degrees here at WCAB.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Cherry Mountain Fire District is our next stop, and that's where we'll find Sue Price to give us the news. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
How you loving this cool weather?
Oh, it's nice, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the sun's coming up. It's going to be a pretty day, looks like. Even if it is cool, but this time of the year for the cold weather. Just going to look forward to maybe some snow later on in the year. Well, let's see. I had no calls from the fire department. I don't have any birthdays on my church calendar. On my personal calendar, I got a birthday for John Lucky Doo. Happy birthday, John. I hope you'll have a good one today. And on Fairview's, they've got a birthday for Riley Kate Van Dyke. So anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a good one on their special day. That's the only two that I have, but we wish everybody a happy birthday and happy anniversary that's having one today. And let's see, I had the one announcement about the blood drive at Golden Valley Community Club. That's December 7th, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And for questions, you can call 828-447-2969. And I hope they'll have a good turnout for that. I'm sure they're needing blood. They always need the blood. And so far, that's the only announcement I have. It's just quiet and calm over here today and looking for a good one, and I hope you'll have a good day, Jim.
Thanks very much, Sue. I'll see you then.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, here's the latest on the election countdown from Dawn Lovelace, our election supervisor in the county. Boy, I tell you, if every state, every county had a supervisor, election supervisor like we do in Rutherford County, the expertise and professionalism Dawn Lovelace has, they wouldn't be any troubles anywhere. But we got to go. But anyway, there is going to be a statewide recount of more than 5 million ballots cast in North Carolina's Supreme Court Chief Justice contest, and that's going to begin tomorrow. The recount likely will take several days in some counties, and county boards of elections must complete their recounts by Wednesday, November 25th. It is North Carolina's first statewide recount since the 2016 state auditor's race, which confirmed the results in that contest. Democrat Sherry Beasley requested a recount in a letter to the State Board of Elections on Tuesday. Beasley trails Republican Paul Newby by fewer than 400 votes out of nearly 5.4 million cast in the race for the state's highest court. That puts the race within the 10,000 vote threshold for the trailing candidate to demand a recount, and she has done that. So they'll be recounting. I believe they're going to, Rutherford County is going to count theirs tomorrow over there at the fairgrounds, and they will be a limited number of folks who can view that, but you need to make an appointment. And due to COVID, you can't just walk in over there. They find themselves to be very cautious and smart. So if you'd like to observe the recount tomorrow, contact Dawn over there at the Board of Elections. Anyway, that's how it goes, a recount of the Supreme Court of North Carolina. Very close race there. Tina? All right, let's head talk with Tina up at the Shingle Hollow Fire District. Tina, how are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's a wonderful Wednesday here in Shingle Hollow.
Well, you always sound happy.
It's around 38 degrees, and the fire department didn't have any calls, so we're very thankful for that. And birthdays, we have Sandy Jonas, Ronnie Luckadoo, and Tony Hudson. We hope all of those have a great, wonderful birthday.
All right. I like it when it's quiet, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. You got big plans today?
Not great big plans. I'm cleaning out some drawers and getting summer stuff and packing it up and getting out the winter stuff.
Oh, that's always fun, right?
It can be challenging at times.
Yeah. Well, listen, I hope you have a great day up there, and don't overdo it, and we'll check back in with you tomorrow.
Okay, I look forward to talking to you tomorrow.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Tina. Bye-bye. It's Tina White up at the Shingle Hollow Fire District. It's 7:35.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers of Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Take a look at the 2020 redesigned Ford SUV. Take your pick while the picking is good on Oak Street in Forest City.
Well, Governor Cooper spoke yesterday about the COVID-19 cases here in North Carolina, and I'll tell you about that coming up during the 8 o'clock hour this morning. Got a lot to pack in that 30 minutes, so we'll tell you what the governor's saying about the COVID in North Carolina a little after 8 o'clock this morning. Right now, though, we're going up to Union Mills and knock on the door of Brenda Kelly and see if she'll let us in. Good morning, Brenda.
Welcome and come on in on this wonderful Wednesday morning. Stand by the fireplace and warm your hands and feet.
Yeah, I like that. I like fireplaces.
Yeah, that's good. But we hope everybody's having a good day today. Bright winds are blowing up here. I believe it was, Gary said they had a heavy frost. I don't see no frost out here.
We didn't have any either, so maybe the wind kept yours away.
Yeah. Usually when the wind blows, it don't frost, but it keeps my dog upset. She can't decide if she wants in or out. She hears that wind and she thinks there's something out there, and she goes out there and barks.
Yeah, what about that?
But that's all right. It's just in and out and in and out. But I don't have any birthdays. I don't have any anniversaries. I don't know of anything going on, and I've got 32 degrees on the front porch this morning, so that's still cold.
Yep.
But it's that time of the year.
It is indeed.
Yeah. I was asking Todd if he was going to make pecan pies and for Thanksgiving. He said, oh, yeah, he went and got his molasses, and they're good. I don't like molasses.
You don't like molasses and pecan pies? You just don't like molasses?
I don't like molasses. Pecan pies I love, but I can't eat them because of the nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pecan pies are good.
I love them. I love them, too.
Oh, yeah. But I don't eat them because I'd end up in the hospital.
Oh, yeah? You're allergic to all kinds of nuts?
No, I have diverticulitis.
Okay.
And you eat nuts, corn and stuff like that. And last time I eat corn, I thought I was going to end up in the hospital. So you learn through your mistakes what to eat and what not to eat.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, if you're allergic to all kinds of nuts, you need to stay away from this crowd down here.
You're crazy, Jim.
See what I mean?
But that's all right. We like you like that.
I love being crazy.
Yeah, but I don't know of anything going on, so I guess you better go check on Luther Sweet Thing Gilligan to see if Ellenberg's still down there.
All right, stay warm up there, and we'll check in with you tomorrow.
Okay, catch you later.
Thanks, Brenda. 7:38.
It's great to get discounts on beautiful furniture at the end of the year, and thanks to the Recliner Center, you can get 10% off everything in the store. 10% off lift chairs, 10% off sofas, 10% off recliners, 10% off bedding. Christmas is fast approaching, and Angela has changed her hours to suit your schedule. The Recliner Center is now open Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 4, and Saturdays, 9 to 2. And, of course, you can make an appointment by calling 828-395-3562. Come by soon and pick out the recliner, sofa, or lift chair that best suits you and get 10% off your purchase. And stay tuned to learn how you can win a recliner from the Recliner Center. But more on that later. Come by and see Angela Cooper at the Recliner Center today. The Recliner Center is on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
When it comes to calling a pest control company, people in the know call Hutchins Pest Control. With over 40 years' experience behind them, it's a known fact that Tim Hutchins and his team come ready to do a professional job for you. Licensed in both North and South Carolina and voted the best for 10 years. Hutchins Pest Control comes fully insured, honest, dependable, and on-time service. Call Hutchins Pest Control today at 287-5171 to get rid of your pest and rodent problems.
Lou Gillum, one of our employees here, was chosen on Monday night at a Spindale Town Council meeting to serve on the Spindale Town Council. Be serving an unexpired term of the gentleman who just recently passed away. Lou will be tapped and be sworn in to serve as a Spindale Town Councilman in December. So congratulations to Lou. Then at some point she'll have to, of course, she decides to stay in that job, she'll have to file and run for the job. She ran one time before and did pretty good, almost got elected. And then when this seat came open, the Spindale Town Council asked her to serve in that capacity. So she agreed to do that and attended the meeting Monday night, and they voted unanimously to elect Lou Gillum as Spindale Town Council member. And again, in December, I believe it's the 5th or 7th, be the 7th, I guess, she'll be sworn in to become officially a council person for the town of Spindale. And we'll move over to Ellenboro, who is also on the town council in Ellenboro and a spokesman for the town on the morning report here on WCAB. His name is Luther Gilligan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. It's a nice morning down here today. The sun's almost up. Things are looking good.
All right.
Not too cold, but rather cool this morning. Got 37 degrees. Other than that, everything going good. I'm going to try to stay warm today. And most of these things are quiet. Fire department had one accident last night about 6:15 down 74 east of Edinburgh. Other than that, things are quiet. They had a nice storm down there. So nothing else going on down here. Everything's quiet, peaceful, going good. So you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Luther. Have a good day.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye. And you can get to Luther with the afternoon report, too, from Ellenboro each afternoon. This afternoon with Kevin Pleasant. Now it's time for birthdays and anniversaries. I give you a big shout-out on your birthday. We love to let folks know you are another year older or maybe deeper in debt or been married another year. Congratulations. Let's find out who it is. Call us now at 287-3356, 287-3356. Another day older and deeper in debt. Oh, anyway, enough of that, Jim. Again, that phone number is 287-3356.
Attention deer hunters, Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply has your deer hunting supplies including Deluxe, $34 for 50 pounds, Early Draw, $27 for 25 pounds, and Supreme Fall, $32.50 for 50 pounds. Deer corn, 50-pound bag, $7. Check on the farm equipment available at Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply at their lowest prices. In stock, case knives, 10% off. Ask about discounts on River Run dog food and many more special prices when you shop Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply, 188 Whitesides Road, Rutherford. Give them a call at 828-287-3272.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
That's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today. While they're fresh, they're good, they're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about. Talking about Granny B's yesterday, had lunch, and folks were coming in buying those donuts by the bags and by the boxes. And I've never seen so many donuts going out the door. People love them. So you will, too, if you've never tried a delicious Daylight Donut from Granny B's. Be sure to do that. And if you want a delicious sub, they'll make it the way you want it. Try that today for lunch at Granny B's right there in Spindale. Happy birthday. Ruth Bailey of Cliffside's 92 today. Tammy Walker over in Bostic's 50. And Ryman Holly is 10 years old in the 5th grade at Mount Vernon.
We wish all these folks a great old big WCB happy birthday. And William McHenry is celebrating a birthday today as well. So happy birthday and many more happy returns. And coming up, Keys to Confident Living. Yeah, we got some things to talk about. We'll tell you about what Governor Cooper said yesterday about the COVID-19 and give you another run on some things that are happening that you might be interested in knowing about. So don't go nowhere.
From my hotel parking lot, I watched the plane climb higher and higher. It circled out over the ocean and then began to circle back. I knew what it was going to do, and I strained to follow it through the sky. At any time, I expected it to deliver its cargo. But to my surprise, it began to descend rapidly back to the airport. Had I missed something? But then I saw the little dots in the sky. The skydivers had exited the plane over the jump site, but because of their altitude, I could not see them free falling. It was only when their chutes opened that I could spot their location. Have you ever strained to see what was going on in your life? You thought you were doing the right things, but it didn't seem to be working? You strained for meaning, but it did not appear that the pieces were coming together? Early Christians were taught not to get weary in doing the right things, because if they persevered and didn't faint, they were promised a rich harvest. Like the skydivers, in time, it all becomes clear. Don't give up. God's will is yet to be revealed. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living. Scripts for these programs are sold in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS.
The cause of a fire Tuesday afternoon at the home of Buncombe County Sheriff Quentin Miller is under investigation. A spokesperson for the sheriff's office said no people or pets were injured in that and is still under investigation. As many as 53 Asheville police officers have now left the force since the first of the year. That includes 49 resignations since the beginning of June. Chief David Zach told 13 News that's led to adjustments that include prioritizing calls, longer response time, and fewer officers visible in downtown area. So a lot of things, unhappiness there with defund the police departments and loss of respect for many of them. But that'll get better, I hope. We'll be back on the flip side of 8 o'clock this morning, folks. Enjoy some music from down memory lane with classic oldies.
Holding hands, sipping cherry cokes, and enjoying the music of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. 100.9 FM, 590 AM. This is WCAB.
Roses, they can't hurt you. No, the roses. Increasing across the country, the race is on to get the vaccine to as many Americans as possible as soon as possible. ABC News Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman has the latest details.
Pfizer revealing new data showing its vaccine is 95% effective and works across all age groups, races, and ethnicities. The drug maker says it'll submit an application for an emergency use authorization in the coming days. That as more Americans are hospitalized with COVID than ever before.
The FDA also authorizing the first at-home COVID testing kit. You'll need a doctor's prescription to get it. Across the country, 2 million Americans have tested positive this month alone for the coronavirus, and more than 1,500 people have died. That's the highest daily total since mid-May. ABC's Elizabeth Scholze with more on additional restrictions being put in place.
In Washington state, officials are warning 300 people who attended a wedding after 40 COVID cases were linked to the event.
It's the kind of thing that really is what they refer to as a super spreader.
In Los Angeles, new restrictions will be imposed, including a 10 p.m. curfew for businesses. Ohio and Maryland now imposing similar curfews.
The nation's top cybersecurity expert, Christopher Krebs, has been fired by the president after announcing there were no problems with the 2020 election.
President Trump announcing that in a tweet, baselessly claiming that there was widespread fraud in the election and that a statement from the Department of Homeland Security's top cybersecurity agency, which Krebs oversees, was wrong to say that the election was the most secure in American history.
That's ABC's Mark Rumillard. Republicans on the Wayne County, Michigan Board of Canvassers, those who oversee ballot counting in the Detroit area, voted last night not to certify election results. Then, after public comments during an online meeting, reversed course, agreeing to certify them. Joe Biden beat Donald Trump by a 2-1 margin in Wayne County. You're listening to ABC News.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price-competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-721-4880. That's 800-721-4880. 800-721-4880. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Nearly 2 years after Boeing 737 MAX jets were grounded following a pair of deadly crashes, the FAA is now clearing them to fly again. Some stores are starting to look like they did 6 months ago. Shelves a little bare in the paper products and cleaning supplies aisle. Rising coronavirus cases and the threats of more restrictions driving some Americans to stock up again. Patrick Penfield is Director of Supply Chain Executive Management at Syracuse University.
The variety may be limited. Your smaller stores, they may struggle sometimes to get certain supplies.
But a lot of stores say things won't be as bad as in the spring, that they have prepared and stocked up on essentials. The U.S. now dropping drug and corruption charges against a former high-ranking Mexican official. ABC's Aaron Katersky explains.
Federal prosecutors said the United States has determined that sensitive and important foreign policy considerations outweigh the government's interest in pursuing the prosecution of Salvador Cienfuegos Zepeda, who recently served as Mexico's Secretary for National Defense. Attorney General Barr and his Mexican counterpart announced the decision in a joint statement, but the judge set a hearing and ordered the acting U.S. attorney in Brooklyn to be there. Cienfuegos had been charged with taking bribes to protect a drug cartel that supplied the U.S. It's not clear he will face any charges once he's repatriated to Mexico. Aaron Katersky, ABC News, New York.
The remnants of Hurricane Iota making their way across Central America. Parts of Guatemala now could get a foot of rain. This is ABC News.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
This stuff is fabulous. Your commercials don't even do it justice. The energy, everything, it's just amazing. People say, your skin looks so nice lately. Thank you. You know, it's Balance of Nature. It's amazing.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Go to balanceofnature.com today and use discount code FRUITS.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Morning has broken. It's a sunny day and good time to be outdoors. Our expected high today around 58 with light wind and sunny skies. Our humidity about 45% today. Tonight's cool weather drops back to 29 with light wind. We have sunny skies Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with highs ranging from 56 to 66 by Sunday, and rain returns to the forecast on Monday. The beautiful day outside. Go enjoy it.
Well, I wish we had a place to broadcast live outdoors today. It's such a nice morning. It's 37 right now. We started out at 35, and we've been jumping, climbing real fast today, up to 58 with that light wind blowing. No heavy winds, doesn't look like all week long, but cooler temperatures at night. Matter of fact, we're dropping back tonight below freezing at 29 degrees. And again, right now, 37 and sunny skies. Another great getting up morning here in the foothills. Thank you for hanging around with us. We got a lot to pack in this stuff this hour. Information I want you to know about, what Governor Cooper said yesterday, and the recount of a major race in North Carolina. We got all that straight ahead right after this.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we have a number of vaccines, including the Quad-Vac flu immunization at no cost with most insurance plans. If you have any concerns about the flu vaccination, please call our pharmacy and ask to speak to one of our pharmacists. We also have the Tdap, pneumococcal, and shingles vaccinations available. With COVID-19 continuing, we have mask lanyards, hand sanitizers, disinfectant spray, and gloves while supplies last. Seating in our fountain is still limited to 65 patrons on a first-come, first-served basis. We are continuing to offer curbside pickup for the fountain and prescription pickup. Please utilize our drive-through prescription window at the back of the store. And remember that our back entrance is still closed to the public at this time. Please check our Facebook page for any updates on over-the-counter and gift shop items. Our home medical equipment department is ready to help you with any of your CPAP needs, mobility, bathroom safety, lift chairs, and any diabetic needs to include meters, test strips, and shoes. Please call us with any questions you may have about any of our services or message us on our Facebook page. We are located at 139 East Main Street in downtown Forest City. Our phone number is 828-245-4591.
Thank you very much. Let's look at some stories from here. The Daily Courier is reporting, and we had information also. The Board of Elections did complete their canvass. Final results were submitted to Raleigh Friday. The Rutherford County results from the 2020 general election were officially certified by the Board of Elections after the official canvass. A total of 34,540 Rutherford County ballots were cast out of 45,948 registered voters, or about 75.17%, making the election one for the record books. Dawn Lovelace, Rutherford County Elections Director, said it's the highest number of voters and the highest percentage of voters in decades. We were told to prepare for a high voter turnout, and that's exactly what we saw. In the previous presidential election in 2016, the voter turnout was 67.67%, when 30,481 ballots were cast out of a possible 45,046. In this presidential election, 24,894 ballots were cast by Rutherford County citizens for Donald Trump, while 9,134 voted for Joe Biden. Tom Tillis received 23,596 votes for Senate, while Cal Cunningham received 9,136 votes. In the governor's race, Dan Forrest received 23,437 votes, with Roy Cooper only receiving 10,469. All results are posted to the North Carolina Board of Elections website. It was a board. The election was unique in many ways. The COVID changed the way things were done, a lot of different aspects, and the machines were a little different this time, but it turned out very well. We got a very efficient staff over there at our Rutherford County Board of Elections. Now there is having to be a recount, a statewide recount of more than 5 million ballots cast in North Carolina's Supreme Court Chief Justice contest, and that'll begin. I believe they're going to start that tomorrow. The recount likely would take several days in some counties, and county boards of elections must complete their recounts by Wednesday, November 25th. It is North Carolina's first statewide recount since the 2016 state auditor's race, which confirmed the results in that contest. Democrat Cherie Beasley requested the recount in a letter submitted to the proper channels to the State Board of Elections on Tuesday. Beasley trails Republican Paul Newby by fewer than 400 votes out of nearly 5.4 million cast in the race for the state's highest court. That puts the race within the 10,000 vote threshold for the trailing candidates to demand a recount. She was in her rights to do that, and she did. Karen Bridson Bell, Executive Director of the State Board of Elections, says we cannot express enough gratitude for the hard work of our county boards of elections who continue to ensure accurate and fair results in this election. Recounts are an important part of the elections process that help guarantee voters' wishes are realized in the closest of contests. County boards of elections may begin recounting ballots on Thursday or sooner if they meet the 48-hour public notice requirement. And according to that, the statewide race will be conducted Thursday, 1 o'clock at the Rutherford County Board of Elections located at the fairground. The meeting is open to the public, but due to COVID and space requirements, please RSVP by calling 287-6023 so they can adequately prepare for that. There's no room for everybody, and they need to stand distance away. But if you want to observe that tomorrow, just please call the Board of Elections there and at 287-6023 and reserve your place, and they will help you get in to see the recounting of that important election for the Supreme Court. Daily Courier on Tuesday, do a story about former principal Connie McCameron passed away, beloved educator, gifted athlete, died Friday at his home. He was 78, graduated from R.S. Central High School, later attended Clemson, and played minor league baseball for the Detroit Tigers from 1961 to 62. He's most remembered for serving as principal at East Rutherford High School for 33 years. Thoughts and condolences go out to him. And you may have heard me say earlier this morning during the call-in section that our beloved Dr. Bob Crummy passed away yesterday morning. He was here on the radio on Thursday mornings for several years doing the call-in show talking about living healthy naturally. Author of the book, Dr. Bob's Grocery Store Medicine and Healthy Life Anecdotes. Many books have been sold. Many of you have read those. And he was happy to share that information and sign them as he could. He was on here until he had a stroke and could not come anymore, and progressively got a little worse, had numerous falls, and he finally moved in with his daughter in Marion, and that's where he passed away. Supposedly from his daughter. They went in to check on him, and he was had died in his sleep. No arrangements have been taken care of yet. They're unsure as to how to handle that with COVID, but they do send their thoughts to you folks who love Dr. Bob and respected him greatly if you're concerned about him. And we'll try to keep you posted. Probably will not have an opportunity to pay our respects, but we'll let you know what they're decided to do with Dr. Bob's arrangements. He's in Marion, and his daughter was very thankful and appreciative of the fact that we kept checking him. I had the privilege of calling up there about 10 days ago, talked with his daughter. He was not able to, he was resting, I believe, at that time, was not able to speak clearly. He was slurring a lot of his words still. But she said he had a great attitude, still had a lot of humor, and she would go and check him and say, "Dad, how you doing?" He'd always say, "It's a beautiful day and I feel great." That was his main line. We talked yesterday about they'll if he has a tombstone, they'll put that on his tombstone. "It's a beautiful day and I feel great." So she said he kept his sense of humor, even though he had difficulty saying some words due to his stroke, and he had some falling problems. But he went on and met his beloved wife, who passed away several years before him. Dr. Bob Crummy, rest in peace. He's not a doctor. Governor Roy Cooper issued an alert system as COVID-19 cases rise. I think he was on the news yesterday. He announced the implementation of a new alert system to track the spread of the virus. Cooper said, as numbers here and across the country, we need North Carolinians to treat this virus like the deadly threat that it still is. He unveiled an alert system that classifies counties as red, orange, or yellow based on the risk of COVID-19 in the area and issues the recommendations on how to stop the spread in each county based on how bad it is in there. Rutherford County falls in the middle as an orange county. State officials are urging people in orange and red counties to work from home if they can and limit non-essential outings. Dr. Mandy Cohen, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, also issued a warning about Thanksgiving. If you're going to travel to or get together, keep it small, she said. Keep it outside, wear masks all the time, and consider getting a test ahead of Thanksgiving. Rutherfordton resident Chuck Hemrick told 7 News he's worried things will get worse over the holidays. He said, I think it's going to be difficult for the majority of people to not see their family. He said his family is keeping it small. He hopes others will too. This is a story out of the Shelby Daily Star. I hope it doesn't have to come to another lockdown, shutdown, or whatever you call it. Governor Cooper said if case numbers don't improve, he's considering putting restrictions in place. Well, as the local COVID-19 cases and deaths continue, Gaston County is now listed among the state's top viral hotspots. 10 counties are classified as critical. 43 have significant community spread. North Carolina health leaders unveiled a new color-coded map system Tuesday. It places Gaston County as one of the 10 counties in the red, or critical area, tier based on the severity of the spread of COVID-19 and its high impact on local hospitals. Cleveland County is among 43 other counties listed one tier lower in the state's orange or substantial spread tier. Rutherford County is also listed in that orange. The severity and color code are calculated based on the rate of new cases in the prior 14 days, the percentage of cases that are positive in the prior 14 days, and the effect the infections are having on local hospitals. The hospital factor includes hospitalizations, COVID-related emergency room visits, available beds, and whether the hospitals have had staffing shortages. So that's where we are right now based on the new guidelines or the new plan that he's studying, the state is studying. So we'll see what develops. They're encouraging it to be as space friendly as you can over Thanksgiving, I guess. He hasn't gone so far as some of the New York governor and the California governor said, no, you can't meet, you can't do it. Anyway, we just have to use common sense, folks. Common sense. Use your mask when you can, and use common sense. I'll be back in just a moment with the Sheriff's Report. The Grace of God Rescue Mission in Forest City is again providing a hot, delicious meal and friendship Thanksgiving Day for those who need it. This free meal is a ministry outreach from Terry Hageman and his team at Grace of God Rescue Mission. If you know someone who needs a good hot meal and good fellowship, invite them to the mission on West Main Street, Forest City at 11 o'clock Thanksgiving Day. Remember the date and time for this meal, Thanksgiving Day at 11 o'clock for those who need our love and friendship. For just $5, you can provide one of these dinners or one of the more than 52,000 meals that will be served next year. Hungry, hurting, and homeless people need our help. Whatever you can give, it will be appreciated. Mail your gift to the Grace of God Rescue Mission, Post Office Box 212, Forest City 28043. It is tax deductible, and your dollars go a long way to help those who need it. For more information, go to www.thegraceofgodrescuemission.org. On behalf of the volunteers at the Grace of God Rescue Mission, Main Street, Forest City, thank you.
Dreams are what the holidays are all about. And nothing says dreams like holiday scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. It's a gift that could be so many things. Holiday scratch-offs with over $45 million in total prizes. There's a lot of dreams to give this holiday season. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 2.98 to 4.77. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
Your opportunity to brighten things up this year is here. The 2020 Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce reverse raffle tickets are now available. Only 500 tickets will be sold, and you could win $8,000, $1,500, or $500. 3 winners, and tickets are now available at the Chamber of Commerce office, Main Street, Rutherfordton, right here at WCAB. Our Chamber board members have them. Due to the uncertainty of the COVID virus, the drawing this year will be held December the 18th, live on WCAB 100.9 FM, 590 AM at 8:15, and it will be live streamed. Be a part of supporting the Chamber with your purchase of a reverse raffle ticket. Tickets are $50, and chances of winning $8,000 or $1,500 or $500 are phenomenal. Have some fun. Buy a ticket and listen for the winning number December the 18th at 8:15. You know what? It could be you.
No, just a matter of suggestion. I would not wait till the last minute to buy your ticket because there may not be any left at that point because they have extended the time frame. Years before we've gone downtown on Thanksgiving night and had the drawing before they turned the lights on. They're not doing the gathering this year, so they had to move it somewhere else. So we're doing it here in the studio, and we'll live stream that. But don't wait the last minute because there may not be any left at that point. And I've got some here if you want to go ahead and buy one or two. I'd love to sell you one. So come on by this morning and get your ticket and stand a chance of winning some big money for the holidays.
Hello, this is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. Are you on disability? Or maybe you're on Medicare? Or maybe both? Come see me, Dwayne Hunt at Insurance Service Associates, about a Medicare Advantage product brought to you by Humana. Please give me a call, 245-5301. At Insurance Service Associates, 127 East Trade Street, Forest City.
Coming up November the 24th, you can join us at the called Car Bingo at 2 o'clock, Rutherford County Senior Center on Callahan Coon Road. Bingo prizes, snack and drinks provided. All participants will be entered in to win all the trimmings for a Thanksgiving meal. And that's Rutherford County Senior Center, November 24th, 2 o'clock. For more information on this, you can call 286-7200. Tomorrow is November the 19th, and tomorrow is the anniversary of the Gettysburg Address. And my guest tomorrow morning at 8:30 is going to be John Cribb. He's the author of a highly acclaimed new historical novel called Old Abe. Now, Vice President Mike Pence recently called Old Abe the best Lincoln book I've ever read. Former U.S. Secretary of Education William Bennett said, "You must read this book." The Civil War Monitor wrote that it will appeal to generations of readers. And we'll ask him some questions about Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, such as why did Lincoln travel to Gettysburg to give the speech? Why was the speech so short? Why did Mary Todd Lincoln beg her husband not to go to Gettysburg? Those kind of questions that we don't hear about much. John will answer those for us tomorrow morning, 8:30. Hope you'll join us for that. Right now, Deputy Mitchell was with us earlier to give us a report from the Sheriff's Department, and here it is.
In the past 24 hours, Sheriff's Office responded to 141 calls, processed 16 arrests at the jail, and currently have 146 incarcerated at the jail. As far as incident report goes, Carl Elms of Union Mills reported 2 misdemeanor larcenies. Maria Aguilar of Forest City reported a misdemeanor larceny and a damage to personal property. As far as arrest reports go, Joshua Kyle Lauder of Polk County Line Road in Rutherford was arrested for failure to comply. Jerry Lee Alexander of Whitesides Road in Forest City was arrested for failure to comply. He received a $300 cash bond. Zachary Green of Pin Oak Manor in Rutherford was arrested for false imprisonment and injury to personal property. He received a $5,000 secured bond. Jared Mays of Canby Road in Rutherford was arrested for second-degree trespass. He received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Stephen Schaefer of Red Barn Road in Ellenborough was arrested for non-supportive child and school attendance law violation. He received a cash bond of $370. William Hotella of Hicks Grove Road of Rutherford was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. He had a secured bond of $500. Charlene Tate of Canby Road in Milton was arrested for second-degree trespass. She received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Jaco Ellis of Emory Avenue in Forest City was arrested for failure to appear on a misdemeanor. Received a secure bond of $500. Sheila Elliott of Lee Road in Forest City was arrested for driving while license revoked. She received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Terry Lee Bunch of Old Carolina in Forest City was arrested for failure to appear on a misdemeanor. Received a $5,000 secured bond. And Douglas McGinnis of Fleece Lane in Mooresboro was arrested for assault by pointing a gun, assault with a deadly weapon, and injury to personal property. Received a $1,500 unsecured bond. That's all we got for you this morning.
Work with Duke and the ACC on the possibility of rescheduling the game. Meanwhile, Trevor Lawrence is virus-free and ready to rejoin the fourth-ranked Clemson Tigers. The quarterback missed the past 2 games after testing positive for COVID-19. Clemson going 1-1 in his absence and losing their number 1 ranking after that OT loss to Notre Dame. Lawrence returned to practice last week to prep for Florida State on Saturday. The forthcoming NBA schedule will feature a play-in tournament and an NBA Finals that could run all the way into July, late July, and possibly force the players to miss the Olympics who are still in the postseason. The delayed 75th season, shortened because of the coronavirus, would start December 22nd. The first half of the 72-game schedule will be announced around the start of training camp in early December, and the second half will be announced near the end of the first half. Meanwhile, the NBA draft finally arrives tonight after multiple delays for, you guessed it, the coronavirus. And it's days like this when it's good to be bad. While there's no consensus, number 1 this season, Hornets GM Mitch Kupchak says they can't afford to value position above talent when going 3rd overall in tonight's selection.
We're not good enough right now to win a bunch of games, to get into the playoffs, and to advance. So we are going to have to draft for the best player that we feel could be, a 10, 12-year starter in this league, pretty much regardless of position.
Charlotte will pick 3rd after Minnesota and Golden State go 1 and 2 respectively. Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, and James Wiseman are the projected top 3. This is NCN Sports.
Being a Farm Bureau insurance agent means being local. It means insuring your child's first car and standing beside you after a storm. It's more than a business to us. It's a friendship. So call an agent who calls North Carolina home. Because when you need us, we're there. In every county, every day. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
North Carolina's voters have spoken. How can you make sense of what they said? Carolina Journal can help. Reporters and columnists look at how the elections will affect your wallets, your businesses, your safety, your children's education. Available each month as a free newspaper, every day online at carolinajournal.com. Carolina Journal, your best source for government news that affects you. Visit carolinajournal.com today.
Wichita State coach Greg Marshall has resigned following an investigation into allegations of verbal and physical abuse. Marshall, who has long been known for being a bit of a hothead, walks away from the job with more than a $7 million plus buyout. Dominic Thiem mastered the tiebreakers again to get the better of Rafael Nadal at the ATP tennis finals underway in London. Thiem beat the 20-time Grand Slam champ in straight sets and secured his spot in the semis. Thiem clinched the victory on his 5th match point. The NBA draft arrives today. Players such as Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, and James Wiseman should be about a month into their rookie seasons by now. Instead, the draft delayed because of, well, you guessed it, the coronavirus. The Minnesota Timberwolves have the top pick, followed by Golden State. Charlotte will go number 3. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Morning has broken. It's a sunny day and good time to be outdoors. Our expected high today around 58 with light wind and sunny skies. Our humidity about 45% today. Tonight's cool weather drops back to 29 with light wind. We have sunny skies Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with highs ranging from 56 to 66 by Sunday, and rain returns to the forecast on Monday. The beautiful day outside. Go enjoy it.
Currently we have sunny skies, 39. We climb from 35 up to 39 on our way to 58 for a daytime high. And beautiful, great getting up morning here in the Foothills. It's 8:30, and it's time now for the Word of Faith radio program. And with the program this morning is Ray Nenow and Joe English. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a real pleasure today to be here. It's always a pleasure, but a special pleasure today because I have a friend of mine that I've known for 40 plus years, and him and his wife and my wife and him have been good friends during all that period of time. We've gone through a whole lot together, and truthfully, we've come out of a whole lot together. And so I'd like to introduce him. It's Joe English, and I'm Ray Nenow. And I want to read this first scripture to start because really this is what we're trying to bring to you and bring an understanding of. It's Ezekiel 44:23. It says, "The priest shall teach my people the difference between the holy and the common or profane, and cause them to distinguish between the unclean and the clean." That's saying that we're trying here today, hopefully, to give you some understanding of the things that we were involved in and the things that we did and the things that we did wrong in the areas especially of music. And so we're going to try to teach you what those are, but then we're going to try to let God cause you to have an understanding of what it is and be able to distinguish between it. Joe, I know, you were very, obviously involved in, music and at a large scale. You've been in all kind of productions. You've been in all kind of, places where there's thousands of people. And the first area I'd like to talk about is how it seems like the church is trying to utilize those very things and bring it into the church and try to act like the world so that, it can attract and draw people. Yeah. Have you seen that?
Yes, I've seen it, and I've done it. Just to backtrack a little bit, I started playing music and drums when I was 14 years old. I'm 71. I haven't played in a number of years. And I've seen the church bring in the world's music just like the world's music. You take everything. You could take the guitars, the rock guitars, you take the beats, you take the lights, you take the smoke, you take everything and tack on some Christian lyrics and call it God. And I have a real hard time with that, Ray.
Well, I do as well, and that's why we're here. That's why we're here sharing. Let me read Ephesians, because it talks about it and very strongly there. Ephesians 2:1-2. "And you he made alive when you were spiritually dead and separated from him because of the transgression and sin in your life in which you once walked. You were following the ways of this world, influenced by this present age, in accordance with the prince of the power of the air, Satan, the spirit whom is now at work in disobedience, the unbelieving, who fought against the purposes of God." And that's what's happening in the church. The church is allowing the ways of the world to come in. And the way they're allowing them to come in is through the different people. They're allowing the people who in their lives have chosen not to separate themselves from the world. They love the world. They love the things of the world. And so it's not unusual for them to go out in their car after they get to church and turn the radio on and start to listen to all the secular music and start to listen to all the culture and all the influences of this present age. Because then the prince of the power of the air, Satan, he's ruling their lives. What do you think?
Yeah, you cannot take the unholy and try to put it on something to make it holy. Where's the origin? If we're talking about music. If I spent years, let me go back a little bit. I consider myself an expert witness at this. Because I did it. I did it for years. I tried to remember how many albums I played on, mine and back with Paul McCartney, I lost track at about 13 total.
Well, we can talk about when we did your first record, and we went in the studio. We carried into the studio a stack of records that were all ungodly, worldly records. And the main reason we carried them in, we wanted to sample the drum sounds. We wanted to see how they handled the voice. We wanted to see how they did everything. And so slowly we then began to build your album. And we built your album purely off of all the sounds it was. I mean, we'd watch MTV. We'd watch whatever it took in order to try to get some direction. And truthfully, we weren't hearing from God. We were not listening to. Well, we were not hearing from God to be there in the first place, but we were not. You know, God was not the one showing us what to do. We were taking it on our own self. We were trying to build our own kingdom, and we were trying to make it strong and portray that Jesus was in it, and he was not.
Yeah, he was not. I wasn't born again, and I was doing supposedly contemporary Christian music. I was messed up, and I knew how to tackle the musical part of it, no problem. It's a mess. I watched I don't know what church it was, but it was a mega church, and I watched a little bit of the music and what was going on, and I almost cried because, you know, I'm not here to pass judgment on somebody, and I know a lot of people don't know what they're doing is not right. And that's the sad part, because if you don't know you're doing wrong, you just do it. Like Ray said, you know, you get done with what your praise and worship, and you go out and you just turn the radio on, and it's not any different. And, you know, then I started to think on the way over here, you definitely don't preach about sin. That's not a very popular thing to preach about, is getting sin out of your life.
Well, I remember a day when we were in the church, and, you know, we spent many days in the church crying out to God, you know, repenting for the different things we did, you know, and asking God to change us. And it was very early on. It was like, it could have been, I don't know, first few weeks or months. And we were praying, and we were praying for several other people. And I know at that moment in time, someone asked you, why don't you go up on stage and sing?
Yeah.
Tell them what happened.
I took 3 steps towards the platform, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't walk anymore. I couldn't do it. I felt so unclean. It's hard to explain. At any other time, out of my haughtiness and pride and my ego and everything, my resume up until that point, you know, I'll go do it. And I couldn't do it, because what we were trying to do was something holy and not profane.
That's right.
And I had so much of that still in me. Not only could I not do it, I didn't want to do it.
That's right.
I had come to a point in my life, I'm not going to do that anymore. Had so many people, Ray, say, well, why don't you play drums anymore? And that could be a whole other program talking about the drums. But I didn't want to do that anymore. Joe English, I had it. I had it with everything from 14 years old up to when I got here, and I said, that's it. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it.
So you made a commitment, really, when you were 14 to the devil to go follow after a course that was never God.
Oh, I just, every now and then I'll think back to look at the years and how things, and my parents bought me a drum set. I got a scholarship to a prestigious place because they said I had talent, and 14, 15 years old, you know, and then my friends used to take me and put me on had the 45, the records, and us older people know what that means, right? The 45 records, and they would put them on the record player, and they would get a chair, and they'd say, Joe, get up there. And I'd stand up on the chair, and all my friends were around clapping, and I would sing and imitate whatever record it was. I mean, I look back, it was building at a young age.
See, really in truth, by the time I got to know you, you were considered as one of the best drummers in the world.
Well, that's...
You know, and people all over would talk about you. And then obviously you had gone out and played with one of the most famous musicians there were. And so all they could do is look up and think, you've made it. You've got everything. You've gotten to where all of us want to be.
Yeah.
They were so deceived.
Yeah, let me read this. Let me read this to you right here. This is Matthew 4, and it's verse 8. And the devil took him, Jesus, up on a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory and splendor and magnificence and excellence of them. And he said to him, all these things I will give to you if you will fall down and worship me. I did that all my life, Ray. I did exactly that. The devil showed me what to do, and I did it. And I became
You became famous.
In the world's eyes, yeah, you became famous, you know, and during all that time, you know, then all of a sudden, you know, you get back and it's time to walk up on the platform and sing the song of God. All that was rubbish. God doesn't need any help. God needs a person. God needed Joe English to repent, humble himself, and submit his heart to God, and cry out and say, Jesus, I can't do it. I need you to help me. And Ray, that's the first time my whole life I could do it. You couldn't tell me what to do. That's another thing that fortune and fame brings. You're not telling me what to do. I'm telling you what to do. And let me tell you, when you meet God face to face, all that comes to an end, or else it's not a good ending for you. And I humbled myself. I said, that's it. I'm done. I don't care if I never play another note, never sing, never do anything. I don't want anything to do with it. Jesus, I want you to come into my life because I need peace. I've been tormented all my life. I'm done with it.
Yeah, at 1 Peter 2:5, it says this. It says, come and like living stones, be yourself built into a spiritual house. And that's what God was starting there, because what was happening really and true, if the conviction of God had fallen on you and you know you no longer could do it. He says, built into a spiritual house, you know, for the holy, dedicated, consecrated priesthood, you know, to offer up those spiritual sacrifices that are acceptable and pleasing to God through Jesus Christ. That's what he wanted. He wanted, you know, he loves when we sing the songs of God with all our heart. And it's a sacrifice of our heart. And we're giving to him. And that's what you do now. That's the whole difference. Back then you couldn't do it, because the stuff that was so full in you, you know, it was just, you know, absolutely there.
Yeah, it's like the vessel. The cleaner and purer the vessel gets, when you sing a song, it comes out that way. It comes out pure. It comes out real. And when you sing those songs, it goes into the hearts of people. They feel the Spirit of God moving. They don't need to be coerced by drum beats and light shows and smoke and dancing and who knows what. God doesn't need any of that. God just needs a submitted, humble person. And it'd be so great where you have a group of people who want their hearts like that, and they're singing the songs of God and writing the songs of God. It makes such a difference. Like, we have people come to our church, and they come in and sit through a praise and worship service, and they're just like so refreshed, and like, I've never experienced anything like that. But what they experience is not me or you or the other members. They're experiencing God, because God is flowing up out of a clean vessel, and nobody's perfect. But you know what? When you're humble before God, and you're always in your hearts like, Jesus, if there's anything in me that's not right, please get it out of me. Please show me. I tell you, when you have a heart like that, Ray, and you're singing the songs of the Lord, it's night and day. And the world that we're walking in right now, and the times ahead, they're going to need people who can sing the songs of the Lord and bring comfort and healing to people, because there's going to be a lot of people who need help.
People need it.
They need it.
And that's what, you know, what it was saying, like it's saying here, spiritual sacrifices that are acceptable and pleasing to God. When those come, they cut like a sword. Mm-hmm. They go into people's hearts. And yet the whole time now the church is out there. What's it got? It's got big multimedia sitting behind, and then it's got the huge sound system thinking that, let's punch them, pretty hard, hit them in the chest. And then it's bringing in songs that sound just like the world. It's bringing in musicians that sing like the world, and it's thinking it's drawing people, and he says, unless the Father draws them, no man can come to Jesus, and it's not what we do. It's how we humble ourselves and how we, bow down before him. And when we do that, he is then lifted up. It's him that's lifted up, not the man, not the music, not the how great is this sanctuary. Look at how, let me make this mood with this lights, and then I'll drop some smoke down, and we'll all feel like we're in this la la land, and they'll all be down front dancing like, sometimes looking like serpents or whatever. But I mean, it's not God. It needs what you just said. It just needs to be the simple sacrifice, of the heart, choosing to say, I want to do this. I want to go there.
And it's a cry of my heart. How to explain to somebody the difference? And hopefully they would say, that's right. That's not right what I'm doing, and I want to change. That's my prayer. That's what I'm holding on to, that I could come in contact with somebody and say, here's what God's done in my life, and lay it out before them, and then they have a choice whether they want to go down the clean, holy path or stay in the mire.
And hopefully we're putting some of that groundwork here, today.
I hope so.
So 2 Corinthians, because this is the main, you need to understand, we're in a spiritual warfare. And the devil, he's coming however he can into us, into the church, into the fellowships, into anywhere and everywhere he can get. He's trying to plant his seed there, trying to get something, ultimately in the end, that will grab a hold and eventually, truthfully, pull you out of the very thing that God wants you to do. But in 2 Corinthians 11:14, it starts and says, for what I do, I will continue to do. And this is Paul, obviously. For I'm determined to maintain this independence in order to cut off the claim that those who would like to find an occasion and an incentive to claim that in their boasted mission, they work on the same terms that we do. And that's what we're saying here. Those people are not the same. When we go to our praise and worship, we're going in there. God's calling us in there to give that sacrifice ourselves. And we have people leading it, encouraging us to give all our heart. We're entering in with them. We're not sitting back listening and thinking, oh, this is very pleasing to me. I like it. But what he goes on to say, those men that he's talking about, he says, for such men are false prophets, counterfeits, deceitful workmen, masquerading as apostles, special messengers of Christ, the Messiah. And it's no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. So it's not surprising if his servants also masquerade as ministers of righteousness, but their end will correspond with their deeds.
I tell you, it's good and hard to sit here thinking back to what I did, and supposedly Joe English did contemporary Christian music, and the condition I was in, and the sin that I was in, to even mention the name of God. I mean, wolf in sheep's clothing puts it mild. I mean, if there's anybody listening to this that eventually gets to listen to it, please forgive me. Please forgive me for those days. There's so many people.
Forgive us.
Yeah, there's so many people that I still get calls and I still get letters and stuff. You did. It was so good what you did, and that.
They don't understand.
They don't understand.
They don't understand the condition you were in. I mean, that's
No.
that's what people need to be in the grasp. Yes, you can hear the music. Yes, it sounds a certain way. It's all this, but the vessel that's bringing that music, he's also bringing the spirit of who he is.
That's the truth.
And he's giving it to you, sitting there, and you're thinking you're getting closer to God because you feel this nice thing, but you're not allowing God to penetrate you. You're not allowing his word to get in you. You're not allowing that word to convict you. Yeah. You're just feeling the music.
Whatever's in you and however you live, it will come out in your music, and it will come out in your singing, whether you know it or not. Because music is it's a spiritual thing. It's either going to be God or it's going to be of the devil. I mean, people want the middle ground. There's no middle. And some of you might be listening to this, go, well, what do I do? I'll tell you what you do. You fall on your face and you cry out to God and say, God, I don't understand what they're saying, but it makes sense. I want to understand. And if you cry out to God, that's what I had to do. It's what Ray had to do. He will answer you. God will not leave you hanging out there. When you're serious about anything and you cry out to God, he will hear that cry and he will answer you. He'll bring you understanding. He'll bring you peace. He'll bring you joy, whatever you need.
Yeah, in Romans 12, because what Joe is saying, but there's action. You know what? We started this by saying we want to be able to teach, the difference, but also cause. We want God to cause you to know the difference between the holy and the profane, because you've got to begin to change. You've got to begin to make a choice that you don't want this. The world, it's like taking drugs. You sit there and you suck up all those drugs because it gives you personal physical pleasure. That's what drugs does. And that's what the world does. But God wants to penetrate your heart, and he wants to give you true peace. He wants to give you peace that passes all understanding. But in Romans 12, it says this, and this is where you need to go. It says, do not be conformed to this world, this age. It says, fashioned after and adapted to its external, superficial customs. You're not to be, conformed. Conformed means to be part of. Because that's exactly what you become. The beginning word says what it says. You go with it. You become part of it. But he says to you, be transformed by the entire renewing of your mind by its new ideals and new attitude, so that you may prove for yourself what is the good and acceptable and perfect will of God, even the thing which is good and acceptable and perfect in his sight for you. That's what he wants. He wants you to change. He wants you to be consecrated to him, changed to him, not conformed to the world. He wants you to be consecrated, be with him. Cut off all that stuff. You got to begin to, stop listening to all the junk. Because don't be hearing all the, this lady's marrying this guy is a divorce. It talks all about divorce, talks all about drugs, talks all about how bad the police were, it talks junk. And all you do is listen to that all day long. What are you going to be? You're going to be junk is what you're going to be. You're going to be full. So he wants you to be consecrated. He wants you to be in the Word. He wants you to be listening to the ministers around you to help you to bring you out of these things.
I'm listening. Like I said, Ray and I have known each other for 40 years and listened to everything he's saying. And it makes me think I wouldn't trade anything. The world has nothing to sway me. I would not trade the peace of God that I have in my heart now for nothing in the world. Nothing. The world doesn't bring you peace. And the world doesn't bring you joy. But I'll tell you, I was thinking of our church service. When you get into a church service and you know, the Word of God is coming forth. It's the truth. It's changing your heart. You know, when you hear something, it's like, yeah, that's something in me. That needs to change. Then you have the music, the praise and the worship that just builds you up and strengthens you, and you feel the love of God. What else do you want? I don't want anything else. But then you take that and you pray, you walk out the door, and you walk in what you just heard and what you just felt in your heart, and all that good feeling you got and all that work in your heart you got from the songs and the preaching and stuff. And then you walk out the door. I'm going to live it. Jesus, I need you to help me. I want to walk in it. I don't want to be a Pharisee. I was a Pharisee all my life, saying one thing, living one way, and getting up there, just old Holy Joe. Isn't he good? I could do a drum solo and put you right in the palm of my hand. I could make you do anything you want. Witchcraft, sorcery. I spent my life controlling people through music. I worked with people. We knew how to get people to scream. We knew how to get people to holler. I'm saying all that. I'm thinking where I was and where I am right now and the peace that I have. You know, when you lay your head on the pillow at night and it's time to shut the light off, you got peace in your heart. I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world. No money, no gold, platinum records, nothing. Who cares about that? Who cares?
And the good news, you know, like Joe said, when you go out of that service, it's not just, you know, that you went out and you've got a whole church full of people to help you. Mm-hmm. And they're going to come help you, you know, and they'll be part. I'll read this verse and then we'll go from there. But Colossians 1:13-14, this is what we said. This is where Joe and I had come out. This is what has happened to us. Jesus did this for us. He says, for he has rescued us and has drawn us to himself from the dominion of darkness. Mm-hmm. And he has transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption because of his sacrifice, resulting in the forgiveness of our sin, the cancellation of sin's penalty. Jesus pulled us out. He drew us out. You know, he brought us here to get us help. And we've walked it on a daily basis, you know, trying to come out. You know, it's taken time. Yeah. You know, but it's been good. You know, and it's been a good thing. And the love of God now that I have for Joe and for Dale and, you know, obviously for my wife, I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, it's so good. You know, when I see Joe and he gets up and sings a song, and I think of the songs the way they used to be, and I think of the songs the way they are now. I think there's no comparison. Yeah, there's no comparison.
You could not spend the rest of your life giving thanks to what God has done and what he's continuing to do in our lives.
And we're grateful. You want to read your verse too? Go ahead.
Okay. I said, this is Psalm 40. It said, I waited patiently and expectantly for the Lord, and he inclined to me and heard my cry. That's what I was saying. You cry out to God from your heart, he hears that cry. He drew me up out of a horrible pit, a pit of tumult and destruction, out of the miry clay, the froth and the slime, and set my feet upon a rock, steadying my steps and establishing my goings. And he has put a new song in my mouth, a song of praise to our God. Many shall see and fear and revere and worship and put their trust and confidence and reliance in the Lord. I'm going to sing a little song to you. Jesus, 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 there's just something about that name. He's my master, Savior, Jesus. He's like the fragrance after the rain. Jesus, 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 let all heaven and and earth proclaim. Kings and kingdoms, they'll all pass away, but there's something about that name. There's just something about that name.
Thank you all for being here today. You can be here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 and see many of our other friends, or you can go to wordoffaithfellowship.org and see many of the recorded shows that are there. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you.